In our today's class, we are going to discuss the topic which is very much popular. That one is method overloading. Okay, what is method overloading is basically? Well, in Java, two or more methods may have the same name. If you want to write a program where you are going to put up two different methods, okay, with the same name, whether we can implement the same thing in Java, yes, we may, but there are some catches. If we want to put up two or more methods in Java with the same name, then we have to create or define those methods with different kinds of parameters. Okay, in this particular way, we can implement the concept of method overloading. Now, you may ask me which OOPS principle here it has been implemented. So here we can say that it is implementing the concept of polymorphism. Polymorphism, that means one name but coming with many form. Polymorphism, okay? Let us have the discussion in a much clearer manner. Look at this particular example. Here, some of the definition of methods has been given, that is void function, void func. Here some parameter of int a has been given, then float func double a and float func int a comma int b. So what is the common thing in this all these particular functions? For this particular function, the common thing is that they have the same function name, which is func, right? But they are differing itself by its parameter, that means the number of arguments, also the arguments data type. Please note that here return type, what is the return type that hardly been considered in for function overloading. We will not consider what kind of value it is going to return or not, or whether it is a void or not. So this return type is not being the part of the method overloading. But yes, if the function name we are going to share, it is the common one, then we have to be careful that the inside arguments must have different number of variables. Even if you are having same number of variables, then they must differ by different data type of that argument variable. How? So in the first method, there are no arguments. In the second method, there is a single arguments, but the data type of the argument is that int. In this third one, it is again the single argument, it is a, but how it is differing? Because the data type of a is double, not int. And for the fourth one, here we can say that it has accepted two different arguments. One is of int and another is of float. So this way we can put up different processing, that is the calculation, inside all these different functions, and we can call them independently. They will not interfere each other. Okay. Now, again, you may ask me why we should use method of overloading. Okay, now listen. Suppose you have to perform addition of given number. How many given numbers? Two given numbers. But there can be any other kind of arguments also. Say you want to find addition of two numbers, one program. Another program will find the addition of three numbers, right? So we can create a same function, that is the sum, but we can differ them with the number of arguments. For the first two numbers sum, we will give two arguments. For the three number sum, we will put up three arguments over there, right? Look at the example. Sorry. So the function name here, it is, we can put up as sum, but it can be differed by int, right? Now let us see how to perform method overloading in Java. First of all, I will explain the code here. Then I will explain the same thing in BlueJ in practical manner. Look at this particular code. Here, the code has been given to show method overloading or function overloading by changing the number of parameters only. Okay, here the data type, it is same, but the parameters are different. So first of all, look at this particular class. It is a class method overloading. So the first method is display. It actually accepts a single variable a, which is of data type int. Here we are printing a simple statement, no extra calculation, nothing else. That is system.out.println argument. It is a. Whatever the value you will share, it will be printed. Since it is void only, so it will print it. The result will be printed here. In the second method, look at the second method. It also holds the same name, display only. But how they are differing? By changing the number of arguments. In the first method display, it is the single argument. For here, it is the two arguments, int-a and int-b. And check it out. In both the cases, the data type of the arguments remains same. It is int only. Now, here the simple print statement has been given argument a and b. So what it will print? Let us see. But before that one, let us see how to call them. So from the main, I'm calling the display, the first function. Okay, since it is of static type, we don't need to create any object over there. So display calling the function directly by putting single value, that is one, an integer value. That means it is very much obvious that it will call the function which holds single argument. So it will directly go to the which location? It will directly go to call this function only, right? So first calling by putting up the value of a as 1. In the next call, 1, 4. So here it actually contains two arguments. So that means it will call up the second, despite the method name is same, but since the two arguments has been given, so it will directly call up this particular method. Now look at this output. If I compile this code, I will get argument colon 1. That means this is the output. Here it has been printed. Why 1? Because I have given 1 here from the main only. And in the second line, argument A and B, that means this statement has been printed here. Hope now you are able to understand how to implement method overloading by using the number of, by differentiating the number of arguments. Now let us have another example. That is to implement method of overloading, but by changing the data type. We are not considering the number of arguments right now. We are considering the data type. Look at the example once again. In the first method, it is again the method name is display, and it is holding, that is, it is accepting an integer value, that is one parameter, one argument. Sorry, and it will print got integer data. It will print simple statement. In the second method, what it is doing? It is again the display statement. The display, it is the method name is display. So obviously it is method overloading. That is the reason we are able to use the same name of the function. But here the parameter, that is the arguments it is going to accept, it is a, though it is the same single argument, but what is happening? The data type of the argument is string, not the integer, right? So here the statement has been given, got the string object. Okay, let us see whether it will work or not. So to call the first function, I have called display and put given the value as 1. It is a numeric value. And the second time I have called up the same function display, but with some set of characters, that is string. So here it has been hello has been printed. That means given. So as per our knowledge, what will happen? Whenever I am going to put up the number, so it will obviously call the first method, though the name is same, but since it is the numeric value, so it will call up the first method. But the second one, it will call up the second method because it is the string argument it has accepted. Look at the output in that case, what will happen? Yeah. So whenever the first thing has been called up, so it has given the output got integer data. But when the second time it has been called again with the parameter, so it has given the message got string object. So yes, it is got string object. Now see, by differing the number of arguments or by differing the number of that is the data type of the argument, we can implement method overloading. Again saying, need of method overloading if I want to implement, that is the OOPS principle. That one is polymorphism. I can give you another example. That is, if I'm going to ask you find the area of, area can be of different things. Area of circle, area of rectangle, area of square, so anything. So we can implement method overloading over there. Now let us have an example in terms of BlueJ also. Here in BlueJ, I have created a class which is named as method overload, and just check it out how to write the code. Here the program is to find the area of a square, rectangle and circle. Let us discuss the formula first of all. For finding this area of square, we need side. So side into side, it is the area of a square, right? It is the area of the square. Okay. It is a little difficult to use this particular pointer. Now, if anyone asking me to find the area of a rectangle, then what will be the formula? The formula will be length into breadth, right? And to find the area of a circle, we have to consider the formula pi r square, where the pi value can either be 3.14 or 22/7, and r square means the radius, so radius is square. Okay, it is radius square. So these are the three things we are going to consider here. So in all the cases, we are going to find the area, right? So how to implement such kind of program? Using function overloading. Check it out. Here, first of all, I will explain the process, then I will just let you know how to call them from the main function. So first of all, a class has been created with the name class square. In the same area only you can do that one, class square, because inside this class I'm going to find the area of the square. Why I have taken this class square? Because it will actually give me a proper space to find the area of the square in two different manner. One with the whole number like int type, or double type, that is a decimal point, another with the floating point. Okay, we can have that int type also. So here the same name, look at the name here, area has been given with a data type double, and side. Side, that means the argument, so it has been provided by the user. So area of the square is side into side, and here area float side. So here it will accept the variable that is single argument with the data type float. That means same name, finding out the area of the square even, but by changing the data type, we are going to implement the function overloading for a same kind of figure also. Now for the circle. So after closing all the braces properly, like for the void area, these braces and these braces, we are going to close the braces for the classes also. So here it is, end of class. Which class? Square. End of class square. Now again we are going to start a new class. It is with the name class circle. Okay. Now we are using one more thing, that is a variable, that is pi. Here we are going to include math.pi to get the standard value of pi only. Okay, just 3.14. Now void area double r. Okay, Double R, again the same, just check it out. Same function name, it is area only. But it is going to accept again one parameter. In all the cases, it is one parameter, but since they are in a different classes, so what is happening? Even despite the data types are the same, it will not create any conflict. So here double R, that is the radius has been taken, then double A pi R into R. R will be provided by the user. It is from the argument we will get and the area of the circle. So double value. Same cases, area using the float data type, and same way implementing the formula it is going to find. So after that we are ending the class. End of class. What it is? Circle, right? So now another class I'm going to create, that one is class rectangle. Here for the rectangle we need length and breadth. So two kinds of value has been taken. One is of double data type, another with the int data type. In all the cases, if you find the similarities in all the cases, in all the classes, all the method just sharing the same name, that is area. But for the rectangle, number of parameters also been changed, and also it is the double data type for the first function, and the second function, though it is the same number of arguments, it is just two only, but they are differing by the data type from the previous one. And what is the procedure? For finding out the area, we need to implement length into breadth, right? Now check it out how we are going to call it from the main. So it is obvious that for the main, we are going to have the class, which is the original class name. It has been, you can see the class name on the top also, that is method overload. And here we are going to write the main driver code, that is through which we are going to just handle the rest of the classes. So first of all, we have to create object for each and every class. So how many classes we have? One for one that is rectangle, another is square, another is circle. So first of all, let us create. So for the rectangle class, we have created the object that is name coming with the name obj. For the class circle, we have created the object which is obj1, and for square, it is obj2. So we have to keep it in mind. Even we will not forget, trust me, because then and there only we are going to call the function. So for obj, we know that it is rectangle. So obj dot area 30, 20, that means it is a whole number. So it will implement the which function? 30, 20. That means it will implement the last one from the rectangle class only, right? Because we are sharing here the whole number, that is int type. Now next one, how it is? It is 12.5 and 4.5 for same obj rectangle. That means which function it will get, which function it will call? It is the first one from the class rectangle. That means double L and double B. This function will be called from here. Now again, for circle, we have created the object ob1, sorry, obj1. So if we send obj1 area 3 and obj1 area 5.5, okay, in that case, what will happen? It will choose, okay, if it is area 3, no, in that case, let us just make it for area circle, let us make it integer, right? So it will call up this part, number. For the decimal one, it will call up this part. Now for the next program, it is obj2. obj2 is dealing with the square. Let us change the data type, make it integer. So it will show us more variations. So I'm giving int. Whenever we are calling obj2 area 20, so it will call up this particular function, since this is a whole number, and it will print here the result. And whenever we are sending 5.2, it will consider the second function. Now let us check it out. Let us compile the code. Okay. Okay, it has got double data type, but because the value cannot be accepted, so convert it as double. And in that case, we have done some changes. Here also make it as double. Okay, and here it is double only itself. So now let us compile, check it out. No syntax error. So close it. Now run the code. Now say void main. Check it out, the output. Okay, it is keeping the previous output also. I'm just clearing up all the data. Now again rerunning the code. Just check it out. Yeah, area of a rectangle, first integer value, next one was the double one. For the area of the circle, first one was the integer value. Obviously, it will return the double type since pi value is 3.14. And the area of the circle for the next one, it was float value, double value actually. The area of the square, whenever we have given the argument as integer value, so it is 400, and the area of the square, whenever the value has been given as a double, so it is giving us some decimal point values, right? So hope now you are able to understand the concept of function overloading. Okay, now you just try it out to implement function overloading by doing the program like finding the perimeter of rectangle, square, and circle, obviously. Okay, try it out and please let me know what is your answer is basically. Hope you are able to understand the concept properly. Then also if you find any difficulty, please get back to me.